Hey everybody, it's Jim with Triple J Bricks. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be an update video on what I have been doing here in the LEGO studio for the past probably week and a half, 2 weeks. I have been working very hard on processing through the vintage collection haul that I picked up and working through the instruction booklets and pulling all of the parts. And I've also adjusted some storage stuff, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of an update, so let's get into it. So I've just tidied up a bit, but here is the remainder sort of the haul. I have sort of sorted a lot of the parts out into rough categories, and that helped a lot. I had to do like a real kind of larger bulk sort of how I normally have stuff in the drawers to do this. And I've got like, I already put away the 1x brick and 2x brick because I have pretty much done all of the sets minus 2 of the castle instructions I got, but the castle ones are going to be done at a later date. I'm trying to get out all of the other stuff that I'm probably not going to keep and probably just resell after I put them together. But I had quite a bit of the parts for most of the stuff between my inventory and the inventory I got here. Most of the stuff that was missing was minifigure parts, but really all of the major sort of like unique parts, like unique pieces were there, and all of this stuff is left. I think actually what ended up happening, it almost seems like he had 2 copies of some of the sets. But then like there's a bunch of extra stuff. Like these are all those instructions that I posted about in the last video, all those space sets and aqua sets, all of that stuff is pulled already. And so all of this is left. So there's quite a bit of that. Those are all slopes, but yeah, I put away the 1x and 2x brick. There's quite a bit of stuff left, including a ton of minifigure parts that are left over. So again, a little bit of a mystery, but I feel pretty good about where this is at. I'm kind of interested to see what else I could build with some of these spare, like larger unique parts, because it feels like there's some more older sets in here. Like there's a Star Wars set. I don't know how much of that is in here, but there's some older vintage things. So that is all processed, and I will show you what I've done so far. All right, so I have gone through and pulled, this is set 6083. Look at the condition of these instructions. These were actually my instructions for this ninja set, but then this was a ninja set, an old ninja set that he had. Sorry, the glare is crazy. 6088, I have pulled all those parts right in there. And then underneath that is another bin of another ninja set that I pulled. This set has been pulled. The Time Warpers set has been pulled. More space stuff in there. And then in here, all this Alpha Team stuff has been pulled. All of this stuff. So right now what I'm doing, all of those sets I have pieced together, and they are now waiting to be built. On top of that, I've also pulled one of the Islanders sets and more Islanders sets. All the instructions for all of the Islanders sets are in there. I think what I'm going to be doing is a live stream of building those up, but I'm not sure yet. So this took quite a while. This was probably 10 or 12 hours of work to get all of this stuff pulled. But now what I'm waiting for is the Bricklink orders. So I've made a bunch of Bricklink orders to order all of the parts needed to complete those sets. And I know that I don't actually need to complete all those sets. I could probably just build them and then sell them as is. But part of me wants to experience the full build and sort of determine if they're a set that I want to keep or not. And so, and also I will get more value if I can sell them as a full set. So, and I think I got a pretty good deal on all of this stuff. Again, I spent $200 for essentially all of this. Like, obviously some of the stuff that's in there is some parts from my own inventory, but a lot of those are the sets that I got from this haul. And I've spent probably another 200. Yeah, I spent a little less than 200 on Bricklink to replace the remaining parts. Now, I know that kind of sounds like a lot, but from a rough calculation, I'm willing to bet that I can sell any of those sets that I don't want and recoup that $200 at the very least. And then I will have paid, the $200 that I paid for complete sets for all of those vintage pirate sets that are in there for my collection, which I wanted. So I'm kind of, that to me feels totally reasonable. Plus, I get to have some fun with it. I get to rebuild some of these, or I get to build some of these sets that I normally wouldn't have. So I still get to experience it, and it's been kind of fun. It's been a lot of work, but it's been kind of fun to just go through on Bricklink and do all of that. Because I also just kind of want to get a little bit more experience on Bricklink and making orders and working with people and finding stores that I like and doing all that kind of stuff. So it's a good investment for the future, and I think that when all is said and done, I will have many, many sets that I want to keep that are now complete in my collection, and for a really, really great price. One of those larger Islander sets is going to be like $250 on its own, complete, roughly. Not to mention all the other ones. I think there's like 7 or 8 Islander sets in that bottom case there. So I feel pretty good about it. I think it's at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. But it was quite a bit of time. It was quite a bit of time, and now I got to put all of this stuff into the inventory and make room for it. But that leads me to the next thing I want to show you. Okay, so I know it's not ideal because this is like a dark basement here, but I probably should have turned the light on that's in there. But what I've done is I have pulled all of my 2x brick and I have put them into bins. So I got these bins at Target for $1.25 each, and what I've decided is to free up some of the drawer space. So now I have yellow, white, red, blue, greens, browns and tans, light gray, light bluish gray, dark bluish gray, black, any additional odd colors that will get used for Mills plating, and then this is all vintage light gray, dark gray, white, kind of discolored white, and old brown are all in that top one. And that's all parts. Here, I'm gonna pull this up for you. This is all old parts. So all old gray, all these plates, all that kind of stuff is all in here. And so what I was doing is when I was pulling all those older vintage sets, I was trying to pull from this as much as possible when I could, you know, make sure the parts were good, but, you know, trying to pull as much of the old gray as possible. So I've decided to use just the little bit of room that I have over here to make this giant stack. Now, it's not super accessible. It's not ideal. However, it will just, basically what I'll just need to do is it'll force me to be a little bit more strategic when pulling 2x brick for, you know, sets or projects. So, and that's okay. So I'll just basically make a note and then I'll just kind of do them all in one go. And I think it'll be fine. I've already kind of had to shift some of this around. It's obviously not ideal. The biggest thing that this gives me is it gives me a bunch more space. It has freed up quite a bit more. Specifically, this entire drawer is now empty. This drawer has one less thing in it. So not only does it free up that drawer, it also frees up this drawer in here and this one, because both of these were additional overstock of 2x brick. So that's huge. I can now put more stuff in here and more stuff in here, and I think it's gonna be really helpful. It kind of maximizes what I can do in here for now. Yeah, it looks so dark and dingy back there. But you know, I'm working with what I got right now. So this is, yeah, this is the storage I'm gonna try moving forward, but I think it's gonna really, really benefit us for a future storage plan that I have in mind, but that will be coming in a future video. So that's just a little bit of what I've been working on here in the studio, and it has taken quite a long time. And I know I didn't really take you along with some of the pulling of the parts, but I will show you, hopefully in some capacity, either the builds of all of those vintage sets and kind of talk about, you know, we'll obviously put them up into the displays and we'll showcase them and all of that kind of stuff. But I just felt like the pulling parts was not super interesting. I mean, you know, I can go through what I had from my inventory and then what was ordered on Bricklink. I can totally do that. But I just kind of felt like it wasn't that interesting. So I decided to just kind of go for it. But really the whole goal of this is to get through all of the sets that I know I have in my inventory and or instructions that I have from hauls, and work my way through those, because once those are done, that will clear a bunch of parts out of my inventory. They'll fill the shelves. Some of the sets will get bagged up and put into the storage, you know, that I can't display right now, but it'll get all the parts out. And so then I'll kind of have a better sense of what I can use, what I know I can use moving forward with like mocks and the castle scene that has just not gotten a lot of attention lately. So that's really where my head is at. I want to move through all of that. So we still have all of the castle stuff yet to build. All of the castle sets, all the vintage castle sets, I got to pull all of those parts yet, but I really wanted to get the pirate stuff and this vintage haul kind of squared away. I just feel like I really want to get through this, and I'm trying to do it quickly, but you know, there's only so much time I have, and I also want to make sure that the videos continue to be interesting to you guys and not feel like I'm doing all of the same thing all the time. But also, this is me documenting this journey and what I'm doing, so I also have to consider what's realistic. I don't know. Now I'm just rambling. Like I tend to do. Again, I think I might be doing a live stream over on twitch.tv at some point of the builds of at least the pirate sets, because we haven't done a lot of vintage set builds over there, and I think it would be a fun way to kind of do a bunch of them. So anyway, I'll keep you posted about that. But everybody, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And remember, until next time, keep on building. Jim out.